smash the like button and subscribe.
You support Trump?
Oh, absolutely.
And if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Yeah, I'd vote for Harris. Trump is doing an amazing job. The things he's gotten done since he's been in term is just completely unreal, and the way he's been able to follow through with things he says he's going to do. I'm just very happy as having him as president. Glad I voted for him twice.
Okay, so you said he's gotten done things that he said he was going to do, like no new wars, bringing down the gas prices and the grocery prices, building the wall and making Mexico pay for it, repealing and replacing the ACA, releasing the Epstein files, ending the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours.
Well, I certainly think that you're talking about things that are affected by this war, and this needs to be done. No one in 46 years they've been threatening to kill us as Americans. He's the only sitting president, that was willing to go in and do the job. No one else has. And can you think of a president that was willing to go in Iran, do what he's done?
Well, I don't think that's a good thing. I think it's bad. I don't think we should be going to war with Iran. I think that's obviously horrible for this country because I don't think that they were under imminent threat of attacking the United States. And that's exactly why Joe Kent resigned, because he realized that we were under no threat of being attacked, according to U.S. intelligence, along with the fact that we're engaging in this war on behalf of the state of Israel. So this doesn't seem like it's leading to better conditions. This seems like it's leading to worse conditions. And what objectives have we actually met in engaging with this war?
Well, they were building nuclear bombs, and no one wanted them to have them. They knew they were dangerous. They were chanting "Death to America." So, at some point, you have to realize, hey, if someone's threatening you over and over again for 46 years, and they're coming capable with a huge nuclear program, that something needs to be done. And if he hadn't done it, then what will we be looking at in the near future when they decide "Death to America" and they got the ability to actually cause us death and get across the sea with their weapons? So what are we going to do then? So we had to get in there at the right time, and I think the timing's right, and I think the future, people may not notice, but one day we could have had a war that on our soil that we didn't want.
So the JCPOA was significantly better conditions where through negotiation we were able to establish surveillance over their nuclear enrichment facilities to determine that their enriched uranium was less than, I think it was like 3.7% specifically. Since Trump has pulled out of the JCPOA, they've heavily increased their level of enriched uranium, making it more likely that they'd be able to develop a nuclear weapon because you need to be around 90% to weaponize. And they're around 60% or so. The argument that you'd be making is actually worse off because Trump got in office. Plus, again, his original strike around 8 months ago apparently completely got rid of their abilities to do so. So either you think that strike was unsuccessful, or you believe that the strike was successful, right? And you would have to concede to the idea that they weren't even building up their nuclear enrichment, according to U.S. intelligence and Tulsi Gabbard, who testified in front of Congress. And you'd have to acknowledge that Trump was lying within that respect to be able to do the whole "they have weapons of mass destruction" thing to try to justify military intervention again. Like, how many more times are we going to buy that same sort of mantra? Like, we should probably at this point realize that they're lying, right?
Well, I don't think that he's able to really release to the media what truly is going on. I think there's a point to security when you have more job to be done. When you say, okay, we think we took care of the job, and obviously he sent other people back there, and they're bombing and taking out more sites and doing what they can to disarm these guys. I think that you're seeing what is really going on, versus what's being said. I think there's only so much that can be said for security purposes, probably. But at the end of the day, I think that, these people have been, again, chanting "Death to America." That their intent is to hurt us or kill us. And, our founding fathers, they said, okay, hey, what do we got to do to keep this country free? It's just like when we took our freedom from, got our freedom from Britain or whatever. We got to keep that. We got to keep that safe. It's sacred, And if there's a threat,
this isn't protecting our freedom. So just because there's a threat doesn't mean we should go to war. There are plenty of threats with a bunch of nations around the world. That means doesn't mean we're going to war with all those nations. What we have to be under is an imminent threat of them attacking us. We were under no such imminent threat.
The threat is death to America. So what's that mean to you?
Okay, so those are people within the context of their country saying that. There are people within other countries that claim the same thing, yet we wouldn't be going to war with their countries. I don't know what the argument is. And also, why are the people in Iran saying that? Because of U.S. military intervention in the Middle East and because of our relationship with the state of Israel. So why are we double downing on that again rather than pulling out militarily speaking? Because we've realized it's destabilized the region. We've spent trillions of dollars, right, not to the benefit of the American people, right? When people don't have adequate access to healthcare, childcare, housing affordability, and basic infrastructure in this country, we should have been investing in that the whole time. All the money that we put into bombing schools should have been put into schools developing here in this country, right? Right, so that children can learn in this country, right? Not spending money on bombing people all around the world, not for the benefit of us, not for the benefit of the people that are there, but for the benefit of defense contractors, right? And oil companies, right? And huge corporations. Why do we keep doing this when we know that it's failed so many times?
We can build as much as we want, but if we don't secure what we have or what our future has, what we're putting together, I mean, we have no security.
This isn't securing our future. This is doing the complete opposite. How much are we in debt now? Because of the fact that we've been going to war, right? Like, this is the advent of this came originally from that. So you understand that that's the main precursor to our debt is the level of military conflict and intervention that we've had, right? In the 2000s. Prior to that, we had surplus and we didn't have anywhere near this level of debt. So you understand that's not putting future generations, right, in our minds, saying that we're trying to do what's best for future generations. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, we go in debt to buy a house to shelter us from the lightning and the storms, right?
But what investment did we make? We didn't make an investment. Where's the investment paying off? Where's the revenue? Because you get equity when you buy a house, right?
You pay for insurance. You say, "Oh, I'm going in debt for insurance," but it's protecting your vehicle that you ride, your asset, right? So we have.
This is a little bit more than insurance. Like $40 trillion almost. And debt is a little bit more than just insurance, right?
How much do Americans pay on insurance per year collectively?
I would have to look, but I don't think it's 40 trillion.
They do it to protect their homes. Well, think about the value of America, and think about every asset we have collectively. I mean, just think about.
Well, okay, if it was insurance, then why did we need the insurance after the 2000s, but we didn't need the insurance prior?
I'm sorry. I don't understand.
Why did we need the insurance after the 2000s to have the massive levels of debt, but we didn't need it prior?
I'm not certain I understand.
We don't need debt to function as insurance. Like, we can have insurance through the context of like social programs and safety nets. If that's the type of insurance that you want to establish, that's what we have through the context of our systems. But right now, we're putting money into literally what Trump wants to do is $1.5 trillion a year into defense. This is insane, right? Like, can you not realize that that's insane?
What's the purpose of the military?
What is the purpose of the military? I think it's to defend our country.
And so when Trump said this is no longer the Department of Defense, this is a Department of War, I'm going to name it what it's always been. And he's doing just that, and he's using is that.
That's not how it should be.
But that's how it is, though.
But that doesn't mean it should be that way.
Doesn't mean it always should be that way. But it's
exactly.
Right now,
so wait. So you're arguing just because something is a certain way means it should be that way? Is that your argument?
No, I think just because something's a certain way, just like it was called Department of Defense for years, that it won't always be that way. Things will change.
Okay, so then can you acknowledge or give me an argument for that?
For why they changed it?
No, for why you think it's justified to, at least from a mindset perspective, view it as the Department of War Crimes rather than the Department of Defense, because clearly it sounds like they're trying to go on the offensive, which is what they've done, right? They're not playing defense. Our military is for defense, right? Not for offense.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I believe for years that we were under the idea that it was because of what they called it, the Department of Defense. Now they're saying, hey, this is Department of War, and we're going to be willing to not attack you, but if you threaten us, if you threaten our people, if you threaten our children, then we're going to come to war with you. It's no longer we're going to be on the offensive side, but we're going to come and attack you. We're going to attack your country. We're going to take down your infrastructure. We're not going to give you a chance to attack us. And
that's fucking insane. You guys sound ludicrous. Okay. No, I don't just any country that threatens us. I don't want to just go and literally fucking destroy their country and their civilian infrastructure. What the fuck is wrong with that? Those are war crimes. You know that, right? So destroying civilian infrastructure is war crimes.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that's what it looks like. That's what's happened to me. They've changed it from, okay, we're no longer the Department of Defense, but we're now the Department of War.
Yeah, but why do you support that if it means you were trying to just justify committing war crimes? Because to me, that's terrorism.
What do you call it when they're threatening to kill us and they have, like, say if your neighbor was living beside you and he threatened you for the last 40 years and all of a sudden he is collecting a bunch of weapons and building some type of something that you know that is a good chance that he could kill you with very easily, or your family, what would you do? Would you attack him first, or would you let him attack you first?
If I'm not under an imminent threat of being attacked violently and someone just threatens me, I'm not going to attack them. Right? Like if someone threatened me on the live stream, should I violently attack them or try to attack them, find them and attack them because they threatened me on the live stream? No, if they're under no imminent threat of attacking me, why would that even make sense?
Well, it depends. What are you saying is an imminent threat?
No, answer this question. If someone threatens me on the live stream, should I try to geolocate them and go attack them violently?
Well, if you were the United States government, you would. You wouldn't.
Okay, no, right? That would make no sense, right?
I agree.
Okay. So then, like, explain to me why you think it makes sense in this context that because there were some people that threatened us in a certain country, that means that we should just for some reason just go and bomb their country. Like, because we could say that for Russia. We could say that for North Korea, right? We could say that for plenty of countries, right?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to you have to figure out, okay, there's a risk here, and how high has the risk got? And there's a lot of things that me or you don't see because we don't really know. They have intelligence. They know they're not sharing everything with us, and we all know that. But there's some point where, hey, the risk is so high that you have to move in. You have to do something down to secure your future. And if
this isn't securing, why do you keep repeating that as if it's actually securing our future? This has made our future worse off. It's not securing our future. In what way is it securing our future? Please tell me.
How come, on 9/11, what happened? They attacked us, right?
How is this securing our future? Can you answer the question?
By taking out an imminent threat. They have an arsenal of
imminent
weapons.
threat. What U.S. intelligence indicates that we were under an imminent threat from an attack by Iran?
What wasn't?
What? Joe Kent specifically, right, indicated that there was no U.S. intelligence that said that.
So you believe that we weren't under any threat by them?
We were under no imminent threat of being attacked by them.
So would you wait until they get the capability or they're ready to?
Until we have U.S. intelligence that indicates they would attack the U.S.
So
I think that's totally fair, right? What, you would need evidence that they're going to attack you before you literally go start a fucking war? I'm sorry, yeah.
Well, what more evidence do you need than to see what they were building?
What more evidence do we need in order to, rather than to see what they're building?
If you know their intentions for you.
Wait, you understand that they're building that because Trump pulled out of the JCPOA, right?
But at any rate, if you know that their intentions are to kill you.
Wait, hold up.
Would you not agree that
okay, if you know that that's what their intentions are, why do you pull out of the JCPOA?
I'm not familiar with the JCPOA.
The JCPOA is a negotiation that Obama got under his administration to have unprecedented levels of surveillance over their nuclear enrichment facilities.
Oh. Okay, yes. So, like when he gave them all the money, the billions of dollars.
You mean he got rid of the sanctions that Trump would have done through the 10-point plan that he was about to agree to?
Do you remember how many billions of dollars he gave them in cash?
Do you remember specifically how Trump was going to get rid of the sanctions through the 10-point plan as well? And they were also still going to be able to build up their nuclear weapons? Or build up their enriched uranium, sorry.
Would you agree with what Trump if he done the same thing Obama done, which is give them more cash to keep peace?
If he did the JCPOA, got rid of sanctions in order to be able to establish surveillance over their enrichment facilities, and it prevented the war, I would support that move, yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it ends the war and establishes the same conditions that existed under Obama. And again, we're still in a worse circumstance, given that Trump started the war originally, than what we would have been if we just continued the same policy that Obama established for us in the first place. And Donald Trump is the one that claimed that Obama was weak and ineffective because he couldn't negotiate, was going to start a war with Iran. And look what happened. Trump was the one who was weak and ineffective and couldn't negotiate and started a war with Iran.
Well, I would agree that paying off your bully sometimes works.
Okay, wait, so then are you arguing, by the way, which the 10-point plan would have done that, which Trump was saying he wanted to agree to, which inevitably speaking said there was negotiation for. He said that was going to happen. So no sanctions. So are you just conceding? It sounds like defeat.
Well, I'm just agreeing with you that sometimes paying off your bully will keep you from getting your butt kicked.
Wait, what happened to unconditional surrender?
I don't think we should surrender to Iran. I think what was done was needed. And I'm not going to say that there wasn't other ways to go about it, but I believe it will be effective. And I think over time, the results we get from not being attacked by a nuclear weapon, which we know there's a very good chance of them doing that to us. I mean, at some point, you have to realize, okay, I'm doing something for it's a risk, and I'm putting this effort into it. I'm putting all this money into it, but it's going to pay off for our security. And we may not agree
It
that,
didn't.
okay,
How is it paid off for our security? How are we more secure now?
if they don't have a weapon to attack us with,
They wouldn't have had it under the JCPOA. So how are we more secure now than we were prior to the JCPOA? Or under the JCPOA comparative to now?
what are we bombing?
Iran.
What are we bombing in Iran?
Civilian areas, girls' schools, military outposts.
No nuclear facilities.
Yeah, they have been trying to go after that, but a lot of that they already did around 8 months ago. They haven't been able to get all the enriched uranium.
You and
They
I
also have
don't
taken
know.
out bridges, civilian infrastructure.
Yeah, they started blowing down their bridges because they won't come to an agreement.
That's civilian infrastructure. You're okay with them blowing up civilian infrastructure?
I think at the end of the day, it's going to cost us more money to go back and rebuild it for them. But I hate to see them do that. But at some point, you have to push the envelope to get the job done. And I don't think this is a
So
perfect
you're just okay with committing war crimes, and you think that's in defense of this country, and you think that's in defense of right what we stand for, and I think that's insane. I think that you're being ludicrous, and I think that you are literally deluded right into believing the propaganda of the U.S. State Department every single time they do it, because you're still buying this propaganda. I can't believe it, dude. It's unbelievable. You're literally now justifying war crimes, right? At this point, right? What would you not justify the U.S. doing? Would you have justified Trump's complete annihilation of all over 92 million people in Iran?
No, and I think their people are excited that Trump is doing something about it. They're looking forward to getting their freedom, and they've been on the streets chanting yes. And you have these Democrats that are like, "Oh, Trump's terrible for what he's doing." Then you have
You
these
say
people
for
like,
their freedom. What has he done for their freedom?
those people are out there. Why are those people out there on the streets and celebrating after Trump came in and attacked? Can you
So
answer that?
there were people happy that the Ayatollah was dead. Of course, that's understandable. A lot of the videos
Why?
you
Why
saw
are they
are from
happy?
the U.S. I just want to let you know, right? And
Why are they happy?
yeah, because
Why are
the
they
fact that
celebrating?
obviously the Ayatollah was a horrible, brutal individual, right? Specifically,
you
that
would
was
agree that-
incredibly oppressive. So I'm not disputing
would-
you. I don't think the IRGC is good. No one's arguing that, okay? Right? But what we're arguing is that you have just led to more radicalized conditions. When you got rid of the Ayatollah, you literally put the other person, that's their son, into the office that's more radicalized now with most of their family killed by the U.S. in Israel, okay? So you understand now that they're more radicalized, not only prior, but now as well, given that these things have happened, and you're more just going to have conditions of radicalism and conditions of anti-Americanism that are going to be prevalent now comparative to what would have existed prior if you just continued under the same sort of policy that the Democrats had already laid out for him, had already done for him. It was already all set up. He just had to continue it, and he fucked it all up, and you're supporting it. He fucked it all up and went to war, and now you're still supporting it, and you're supporting them committing war crimes. You're supporting them literally destroying civilian infrastructure for what? For what? Less than what we got under the JCPOA? That makes literally zero sense.
You believe that the son that's still in charge? Do you believe it's still as dangerous? If not, you're saying it's more dangerous for the Iraqi people, and the conditions are worse underneath his leadership, right?
Say that one more time, sorry.
The son that is taken over.
Yeah, the Ayatollah's son. I think that they're more radicalized. Yes.
Yes, I agree too, and I don't think that they need to stop where they're at. I think they need to keep going. I think you need to get the sun out of there too.
Okay, but like you understand that like they haven't.
They haven't, and the job's not done. So hopefully they'll do something about it, because it shouldn't stop here. It needs to continue.
Yeah, I thought I heard that too. Did you say Iraqi? Because this is Iran.
I'm saying the Iranian people. They're on the streets. They're saying, "Okay, hey, thank you for coming, and thank you for getting this leader out of here. We need to finish the job. We need to get the sun gone. We need to make sure that they have a country where they can be free." You realize in like 1960 how much different, if you look back into the country, how much better things were, how much more normalized it was, almost like America. People were free, and now look at what they're going through. Their freedom, they don't have any
I have a
freedom.
question.
They don't have any freedom.
Do you support the defense of Ukraine?
Yes.
You do? You think we should have involved ourselves militarily in Ukraine?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think we should have done boots on the ground in Ukraine?
I think that us giving them the money to fight. I think that we should keep our soldiers out there as long as possible. Let the people fight for themselves. But as far as supporting them with weapons, giving them a way to fight for their freedom, yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
so then why do you support U.S. military boots being used, or military being used specifically with Iran?
I don't really want to see people go. I don't want to see our soldiers go over there and have boots on the ground. And I know that we may not be able to keep from it.
I'm not saying I do either, but I'm just asking you, why do you support that with Iran?
I support the strikes, not the strikes against their bridges, but the strikes against their facilities that could cause us harm. Because I don't think they should have a nuclear weapon.
Okay, you keep making this point. Would we be better in a better situation in terms of them not being able to develop a nuclear weapon under Democratic policy or under Trump's policy?
I think there should be a policy at all if they don't have any nuclear weapons. So I would say for Trump.
Okay, so Trump hasn't led to that. So obviously there was less ability to enrich uranium under the Democratic policy under Obama because they had like 3.7% enrichment. Okay. Now, after Trump got rid of the JCPOA, they're at 60% and they were at threat of getting it. That seems like an issue that Trump caused that then Trump's using to justify military intervention.
Yeah, I think that right now, temporarily, the numbers are higher. But when the job is done, I think that it will be much lower, if not next to zero. I don't think we're completed with I don't think you give Trump a chance to complete what he's doing. And I think if we look back in 10 years from now, I think it will look a little different than the risk look now.
I think that Trump is going to be looked at horribly in history. You know that, right? Well, like it's going to be like looked at very badly.
Well, I think that it could
go
the
history is not going to look at Trump in a positive light.
After his first 4 years, it was looking at a very.
It already doesn't. You know, it already doesn't, right?
Already doesn't what? People aren't looking at him in a positive way.
Yeah, it already doesn't. Specifically, wait. What'd you say?
I was asking to your question. You don't think that history looks at Trump in a positive way now, like his last 4 years? Not this term, but last term. You don't think it looked positive?
No, the January 6th violent insurrection of the Capitol that he pardoned the violent rioters who beat police officers? Are you kidding? You think you think that that's going to be looked at in a positive light in history books?
Honestly, I think that showed you when all the Americans went out and voted.
Unless these history books are written by Trump himself, I don't think that it's going to make Trump look good.
You think that it looks good for the Democrats? History looks good right now for them?
Kat, thank you so much for the star hunting. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Give me some W's for Kat in the comment section right now. Thank you very much. I think they look better than Trump does, for sure. Kat as well. Thank you for the Castle Fantasy. Thank you so much. Give me some W's for Kat in the comment section. It's always good to see you, Kat. Holy shit. Thank you so much, Kat.
With the insider trading right now of Nancy Pelosi and with government shutdown every time they don't get their way, with the fake January
insider trading. So wait, hold up. Insider trading. So you think that it's disqualifying for someone to use their position of political office to make money?
I certainly think that Nancy Pelosi has done one heck of a job of making a fortune off the stock market.
Yeah, but I'm asking you a question. Like, do you think it's like you wouldn't ever support someone if they made money off their position in political office?
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I'm just asking because like it sounds like you consider it so bad and corrupt, right?
Well, I'm just getting to the point. Do you think that Nancy Pelosi is going to go down?
Do you agree that this is really bad and corrupt?
Do you agree?
Do you think making money off of your position in political office is corrupt and bad?
I would say to that point that Nancy Pelosi will go down in history as one of the most.
You can't answer any questions directly.
You want to bait me with something about Trump, and I'm just saying.
What? I feel like this is a pretty vague question, dude. Like, what are you talking about? A pretty basic question. That's what I meant to say. Like, what? Why can't you answer this question? Like, is it disqualifying for someone to make money off their position in political office? That's a basic question. If you're saying it's an issue with Nancy Pelosi, do you think that this is disqualifying?
Would you agree that Nancy Pelosi is doing this?
I do think that she has used the political office that she's had to make money. Now, can you answer my questions?
Sure.
Do you think it's disqualifying to do that?
I would say that it definitely should be dealt with. I don't know, disqualifying.
It's not. So it's not disqualifying. What do you mean by dealt with?
I'm saying that when they do it and they know they've done it, like Nancy Pelosi, and like you look at the American people, And if they were to do, like, look at Martha Stewart, even. I mean, insider trading for selling her stock off, and she was in prison. And you look at Nancy
Okay,
Pelosi.
wait, hold up. So
she's a
again, what
powerful
you said when they
Democrat.
know they've done it. So what do you do in response? So individuals that have specifically they have used their position of political office to make money. What do you do?
So something needs to be done, and I'm not the judge of that. I don't know what America would look at if you were going to say, okay, hey, we're going to give you 3 things to vote on. Would you kick them out of office? Would you imprison them? Or what would you do? What were the options? And see what the American people
So the options are kick them out of office, imprison them, right? What else?
definitely take away their ability to continue to do it. Just like we took the ability away from Iran, and we know that they're going to attack us. I mean, at some point you say, okay, we're not going to give you we're not going to give you the resources and the ability to be able to do this. We need to block this. We need to do something about it. We need to be on the defensive side.
Okay, hold up. So out of all of these, kick them out of office, imprison them, and take their ability away. Which one do you lean most towards?
I would take their ability away.
Is that it?
I would start there, and if they could try to continue, then you have to come up with something else that's not effective.
So here's my question: how do you take their ability away?
I'm not certain how that would work. And it would probably be one of those things if you said, okay, we're gonna ban her from trading somehow, whatever that method would look like, and I'm not sure what that would look like. But if we were to do that, then what would be the next thing? Okay, her husband's making the trade. That's what she's been saying. Her husband's making the trade. And they're like, it's not her, it's her husband. That's what they've been saying. So we're going to allow it still. And that's what's been going on for years. And I don't know, I'm all for everybody.
Okay, so spouses shouldn't be able to trade stocks.
Well, I think we
should ban politicians and their families, all of their family, like including like their parents as well, their siblings and everyone in their family from having stocks.
I don't know if there's a good way to do that, because like what you're thinking, and I'm thinking the same thing, that if you done it, they would just tell their children what to, they know what's coming. I mean, how do you
I think this is a reliable thing. I think something that you could actually do is you say, if you're going to be in political office, yes, your family does have to abide by a certain type of investment structure where they can only specifically invest in, say, like a certain index fund that we grant is like involved in the U.S. So like a U.S. index fund. I think that would be fair. If they can only invest into that, there's no issue with that. That just actually means that they're invested in this country doing better. So it still allows for them to have investments that will be beneficial. Obviously, it still allows them to make good money, right? Like the S&P 500 and other index funds in the U.S. still perform very well. It's actually like a legitimately really good investment. So
yeah, I agree. Parker, it's good talking to you. I got to jump off here because I got to get going. My wife, we're going to meet her grandmother for dinner, but I'll definitely click back in with you sometime once I get settled in. We're getting ready to travel to Vegas. So,
alrighty, for sure. Alrighty, let's go on to the next individual here real quick, everybody. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed in the TikTok screen. If you want to support me, as always, everyone, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, so you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. Yeah, I think I think by dinner he means lunch. My grandma says that. I think it's like a generational thing in some contexts. So they mean lunch. Let's go on to the next individual here. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
26.
Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
And what's your birth year?
1999.
Okay, and you said you're how old again, sorry?
26.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
Because he's never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert.
Let's go on the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria. Listen to the TikTok screen. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria. Listen to the TikTok screen, everybody. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Do you like Nutella?
Did they ask me if I like Nutella? What? Let's go to the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the TikTok screen. Yo,
Hello,
what's up? How old are
sir. 18, sir.
Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Election held today, Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. And for the people asking in the chat, yeah, it's definitely good. I definitely like it. Yeah. I was like never been. I think I've never been asked that before on the stream. Actually, that's a first. So
Wait,
like,
excuse me, sir. I have one question for you. Why do you not like
debate
Trump?
me? Are you going to debate me?
I mean, it depending. I don't speak English very well.
Okay. All right, if they're not going to debate me, I'm going to go on to the next person. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for some debates, everybody. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the TikTok screen. Nutella's too sweet for me. There are very few things that are too sweet for me. I love sugar. It's bad. It's really bad. It's just so good. Yo, what's up, how old are you?
I have one question. Do you?
I don't even know what they just said. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed in the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Alrighty, let's get this next individual up here. If you're on YouTube, again, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. We don't have many guest requests right now. It seems like, again, Trump supporters are unwilling to have conversations right now. They still exist. They're just unwilling to have these conversations because their Trump cult, you know, is indefensible. You know, that's what it is. That's what it is, right? Yo, what's up, how old are you?
46.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I was up here a couple weeks ago. My service dropped on you. We was talking about pew pew stuff.
Okay.